Hi, I'm Don Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of Lutheran Outdoor Ministries, LOM. This video and the others in the whole series are brought to you through LOM as a gift from all of our outdoor ministry members. We think you'll enjoy it. We're confident that it will be helpful. And we give a big shout of thanks to Keith Johnson, the founder of the organization known as Board Coach, for contributing his time and expertise to this project, and to Liam Riddle of the Lutherland staff in Pennsylvania for serving as videographer.
Hello, my name is Keith Johnson. It was my privilege and joy to serve for 43 years with Lutheran Outdoor Ministries in Minnesota, California, and the southeastern U.S. When I retired at the end of 2017, I launched the Board Coach, a spiritually based consulting initiative to help boards and executives thrive in the future. I am convinced that Outdoor Ministries is one of the most powerful ministries in the church. God is using our camps to touch and change lives in Christ's name. I trust your service as a board member brings you great joy. This is the first of 7 videos to help you personally grow as a board member and to challenge your board to be as effective as it can be. Unfortunately, the Nonprofit Quarterly tells us that underperforming boards are the norm and not the exception. The recent COVID-19 crisis reminds us of the great importance of the board and how a camp needs a strong board to support staff in navigating through the pandemic. But don't despair if your board isn't what you want it to be. It can change. That's the purpose of this video series. Joan Gary, a nonprofit consultant, likens your camp ministry to a twin-engine plane. The executive director or staff are one engine, and the board is the second engine. The executive director and the board president are co-pilots to lead the board in ministry. I recently reconnected with a high school friend who has 2 single-engine planes. I asked him about the twin-engine plane analogy. Bill told me that a twin-engine plane can fly farther, carry more capacity, and it's actually safer on landings and takeoffs. When I asked him why he didn't have a twin-engine plane instead of 2 single-engine, he laughed and said, well, that's because it's so much more costly to have a twin-engine plane, and it's harder to learn to fly. It takes time and energy to activate the board engine, but it's well worth the effort. There are several benefits to activating your board engine. Good governance will help your board avoid problems and be better equipped to deal with problems when they occur. Camps need the gifts and abilities that members bring to the board. And the sum of the whole is always greater than the value of the individual parts. The collective vision will be far greater than staff can have on its own. Both the board and executive director have responsibility for activating the board engine. The 2016 Daring to Lead study illustrates the importance of the board in supporting and encouraging the executive director. You can see the 2 keys to retaining your director. And the director's biggest frustration is the board's lack of commitment to financial development. There's also an important role for the executive director to play in growing board capacity. I believe the executive needs to devote as much time to the board, committees, and volunteers as she or he does with staff. It's important the executive want and seek exceptional people to grow board capacity. So let's pause and take a look how your board is doing. Let's look at the development stage of your board to see if you are where you want to be. Stop the video and discuss which stage your board is in and what it will take to move on to the next stage. In future sessions, I will talk about ways to grow board capacity and capability. For the rest of this session, I will focus on the importance of being clear about functions and authority because this will help your board to be more effective. In a nutshell, the board holds the executive director accountable. Staff has the authority to implement the day-to-day ministry without involvement from the board. Planning and envisioning is a joint activity shared between the board and staff. Many responsibilities should be shared, including planning, relating to major donors, raising funds, building relationships, and recognizing volunteers. The board should take the lead in managing board meetings, monitoring the budget, supporting the executive director, and nurturing a relationship with and being accountable to the constituency. The executive plays the lead role with implementing programs, managing the donor process, developing the budget, producing financial reports, developing and implementing a PR plan, and supervising other staff. This slide shows the characteristics of strong boards. Stop the video and discuss how you are doing. Do you focus on the big picture? Do you have a results-oriented mentality, a strategic vision that points to where you're headed? Does each member make a generous stretch gift? The president is the second most important position in the ministry, and you need strong officers. Are they being properly trained? Is your board committed to self-reflection and evaluation? In summary, the board's job isn't done when it finds a great executive director. I hope I've motivated you to activate your board engine or to fine-tune it. I hope you better understand your board's development stage and what it will take to move on to the next stage. And a closing thought. If your board is doing its job right, it will be far more work than you ever anticipated, but it will also be much more satisfying. There are several additional sessions to help your board grow its capacity and capability. You can view them at future meetings. Thanks again for your commitment to Lutheran Outreach Ministry. I trust your service brings you great joy. Please contact me if I can help your board in any way.